Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for another adventure. Today I'm going to be playing a game called Dieson Crusoe. And this is a solo game from designers Jinhee and Heewon Kang. But first, if you want to see more adventures just like this one, do consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell notification icon so you see when I release new playthroughs. Now, I don't tend to buy too many solo only box games, and by that I mean sort of games that are going to take up a moderate amount of room in my collection, because I only have a limited amount of space, and if I'm going to buy a game that comes in a box, i.e. not like a leaflet or a pamphlet or a small book, I tend to go for games that are solo or multiplayer. That way I can play them with other humans as well. But when I saw this game, I was so enamoured, partially by the design and the aesthetics of it, but also by the theme. So I'm a long-time fan of the original book. I had a children's version of it many years ago when I was a child that I read many times, and then I also read the actual full-length novel by Daniel Defoe and enjoyed it very much. And I have the large Robinson Crusoe, what's it called? Adventures on the Cursed Island, the big box game. I haven't played that as much as I would like because it's a big old chunky one and tricky to get to the table sometimes. But the point is, I'm a fan, and that's one of the reasons why I went for this game. In addition to the fact that it looked very playable and very pleasing. I like little solo games that give you a lot of variety every time you play, and I got the impression that this was one of those. So today we're going to be playing Quest 1, which is the Survive quest. And in Quest 1, all you have to do is hunt a deer and make a rope and finish in 6 days. Now, I've seen it said online that this is quite an easy quest, but I was talking about variety, wasn't I? So that is quest number 1. And it comes with an additional 7 quests. Rescue Signal, Smoke Signal, The Taming, The Cannibals, Explore the Island, and Escape. And they each have different objectives that you have to complete, and they each have a different time limit. So the one we are playing plays in 6 days, so you have to complete the objectives in 6 days, and these range from 8 days all the way up to 16. So I guess the more challenging the quest, the longer they last as well. So you've got that variety. That's the main way that this game has variety. But you also have a range of different characters that you can play. So we're going to be the hunter. But you also have the strategist, the farmer, the pathfinder, and the craftsman. And you've also got a whole bunch of different items that you can build. Now, we've only got 4 items laid out here to start with, and this is how it is recommended to play as a beginner, so that you don't get overwhelmed by all the items. But essentially, we can reach for any of these that we want to. So if we want at some point during this game to build an axe, then we can, or a trap, or gain a watchdog. Those are all things that we can theoretically have a go at doing, but we don't need to overcomplicate things as a beginner. So we're just going to be aiming for the rope, which we need to complete the game. And then we've also got the bed, the basket, and the stone knife that we can also build. As you're playing, you have a friend with you, and this I feel like is kind of a nod to the Tom Hanks film Castaway. So instead of Wilson, we have got Jack, and Jack will do a particular thing for us that will help us out. But if you want a bit of variety, you can play with your friend Tom, Bilson, Wednesday, which is obviously a reference to Robinson Crusoe's friend who was called Friday. Stitch, is that a Lilo and Stitch reference? I think it might be. Maybe not. And Patches. and they all do a different thing that can help you out. So I will just give you a quick overview of what we have going on here, but we're going to dive into play quite quickly. If you would rather just see me start the game, there will be links down in the description to the point in the video where I actually begin to play. So as I said, we need to make our rope and we need to hunt a deer. Now the island is split into different areas. You might be able to see we've got these dotted white lines that split the areas up. In our current area, we're only going to be hunting little bunny rabbits, and we need to get into the next area over here in order to hunt deer. When we get into that area, we will also reveal this hunt card. We'll keep that hidden until such time that we need it, just to keep everything nice and clean and tidy. Those are the things that we're going to do. So we've got Jack. This is our character card. It shows us that we start with 5 health, and in fact I haven't got the health points on here yet. So we're going to put 5 of these cubes over here to mark our health. We also need 2 food to start with, and we're going to pop the food there. Our friend Jack is on his starting position. We've got this cube here to represent our 1 point of power. Is it power or strength? Yeah, power. So we've got 1 point of power to start with. We've got this card here, which, what are these called? Area cards. And they tell us how we hunt for the animal in that area, but also what happens during a raid. So we'll get to that a little bit later. And then we've got these 2 boards here, or mine are made of cloth. So I don't know if all of the editions are the same, but I've got the edition that recently funded as a reprint on GameFound. This was towards the end of last year, I think, towards the end of 2024. I don't know whether there are copies available of this out in the wild, physical copies. I'm not sure, you'll have to do some searching online. I will include links down in the description below to the Board Game Geek page and to where you can get a print and play copy. I think you can get a print and play copy of this exact version, but you can also get the original print and play copy over on Board Game Geek. If you Google Dieson Crusoe Board Game Geek, one of the first few links that pops up is the original print and play copy. I believe it was originally created for a print and play competition. We've got areas on the map which we can reach by doing a move action. We have got a day tracker here, and I guess the colour changes as the game gets more and more intense. Up here we've got an event tracker, so we will be moving this token around to track a negative event that will happen each round of the game or each day. Then we've got the action tracker, and we'll be moving this little meeple around to dictate which actions we get to do in the main part of the game. Then we've got this bit here, which is all about what happens in the evening, so sort of things that happen over the course of the game after your actions, so various bits and pieces, most of them bad. And then down here we've got the inventory. We've got a section over here related to different items: wood, stone, hides, animal hides, and food. And then over here we've got stuff related to our shelter. So we track our health in the interior of the shelter here, and then we have to build up, or I would recommend trying to build up points of roof strength here and points of fence strength here. So that's all about protecting you from the weather, and that's all about protecting you from raids from animals. We've got quite a lot of different iconography scattered around here, but it's all fairly well explained in the rulebook, and we will talk about it as we are going. So with all of that said, I think we should probably just make a start. So we have got 3 dice here, and these are going to be our action dice. We're going to roll them, and then we're going to move the little meeple here that dictates which action we get to do based upon the numbers that we roll. Once we've used the dice to perform an action, we're moving them down here, and they'll be switched out with these dice here. So the dice sort of rotate through, but you'll see as we go. We use them, we move them down here, and then in the next day will be using those dice and these dice will be replacing those dice, and they'll sort of rotate around. And it creates quite an interesting mechanic as you are trying to avoid putting dice that are too high here and here, because these are the dice that affect the weather and the frequency at which you are raided by animals. But I think I'm probably getting a bit ahead of myself there, so we are just going to roll the dice and see what happens. Ooh, okay, quite high. So we've got a 4, a 4 and a 5. So we're going to pop these dice here. Notice that we are placing the dice from low to high value. I don't think that is mega important beyond the next thing that happens, which is an event. So for this, we look at the lowest value dice and we advance the event tracker that many spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that looks bad to me. We've got 2 crossed out food there. I'm just going to double check, but that seems fairly self-explanatory to me. Yeah, that is losing 2 food. So that is very much a disaster. So now we're going to move our meeple and do some actions. So we can either move the meeple 4 or 5 spaces. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 to here and gain some wood, or 5 to here and do some hunting. Now, hunting might not be a bad idea actually, because that will give us some food. Yeah, I think we will. We're going to take our 5 action dice. We're going to move it down here. Notice that we have to move it to the first spot here. We can't move it here or here. We have to put it in the first available spot. But this is what I want to do, I think. We're going to move our meeple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to hunt. So the way this works is we add together our power points, which at the moment is just the 1, and we're going to add it on to the stars that we have generated using that action dice. So if we look here, if we were using a 1, we would get no stars. Using a 2 or a 3, we would get 1 star. Using a 4 or a 5, which we are doing, we get 2 stars. So we are doing 1 add 2 is 3. And if we look down here, the hunt requires 2 power. And the total power is the power plus the stars, so we have done 3. That means we've done a successful hunt, sorry little bunny, and we are getting 1 food and 1 hide. So we'll pop the food there and the hide there, and that is our first action. We can go on to the next one. Now this dice here, you might have noticed, is a different colour, and that is because that is a dice that has a special ability. We can move clockwise around the track with it as we would normally do, but we can also use it to move anti-clockwise. And since we're at it, that is also the case if you roll a 1. If we had rolled a 1, we could move clockwise to that spot, but we could also move anti-clockwise back to that spot. It's just a little bonus ability for the 1. But it is always the case with the grey dice. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4 to here, and that would allow us to move around the island. 1, 2, 3, 4 to here, and that would gain us food, wood or stone. But I think I might go for a move around the island. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to move over here. Now when we move over here, we gain the resource in that spot. Might be a little bit tricky for you to see, but that is a food icon. So when we move there, we are going to gain 1 food. Put that there. Over here, these are wood icons, and then over here and over here we've got other stuff, but the immediate vicinity here is wood. Now that move ability did have a star requirement of 1. So in order to do that, we had to generate 1 star. Luckily, using a 4 generates 2 stars, so that was quite easy for us to do. But if we had rolled a 1, if we had 2 1s left, we couldn't move using those dice, because a 1 does not generate a star. So that is that, and then our last dice is a 4. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and get some wood. In fact, that's our only option. Yep, that's our only option. So that's what we're going to do. Now, when you do an action, you don't necessarily have to do the action. You have 2 other options. One is to activate your friend and to move the token on your friend forward 1, bringing them closer to a situation where they can help you. My friend generates additional wood. That's what Jack's ability is. And the other thing you can do is construct an item, if you are able to do so at that time, if you fulfill the requirements for that item. Now the bed requires hide and wood, which we don't have. The basket requires hide, stone and wood, which we don't have. Stone, knife, 3 stone, rope, food, wood and hide. So we can't do any of those anyway. We could activate Jack, but actually I'm more than happy to gain wood in the volume of the number of stars. So once again, 4 creates 2 stars, so another 4 means 2 stars, which in this situation translates to 2 wood. So there we go. Our actions are done. We've moved off into the island. We've got some wood, some food, a little bit of hide. Things are looking more or less okay at the moment. So we're going to go into the evening round. And perhaps I should have said that the game is split into the morning, where you roll the dice and move the event disc on, the afternoon, where we do our 3 actions, or craft tools, or play with your friend, and then the evening is all the stuff that we're about to do. So first thing we're going to do in the evening is eat, so we need to lose one of those food. Then a weather penalty. So we're not going to get any penalties in this first round because we're looking at these dice here. This first one is a 1. On a 1 or a 2, no weather penalty happens. So that's all good. And then this dice here is all about the raid penalty, things raiding your camp. And that only happens on a 5 or a 6, so that's okay as well. Then we're going to move the dice. So what we do is we take these 3 dice, the dice we didn't roll last time, and those are the dice we'll be rolling in this round, and then these dice switch over and we'll be using those at the end of the next day in order to determine what happens. So we're going to end the day by advancing this disc to the next day. And then that's that. That's our first day fully complete, and we're going to go into day 2. So here we go. We've got 3 dice to roll, our action dice. And we've got 2 2s and a 3. Remember, the lowest value dice moves on the event. Let's see what that does. Looks bad. Actually, it might be all right. It is remove 1 fence and 1 roof. But luckily, we don't have any of those things. We don't lose anything else as a penalty. We just move on to the next thing, which is the actions. So we've got 2s and we've got a 3. So we could go here and build some roof stuff. We could go here. Now that is the rest action that allows you to recover health. We have not lost any health yet. Our maximum is 5 and we're at our maximum, so there's no point in doing that. Yeah, so I guess we'll be doing the first one. So we're going to go here. So that is that dice there. And we are building... Have I got everything I need? Yes, I do. So we can use 1 wood and 1 hide to give us 2 roof spots. Put those there. So two bits of roof above our head to protect us. Now we could go 1 2 3 and move, or 1 2 and get some food. Now it would be food times the stars. A 2 would only give us 1 star, which is not fantastic. I guess we'll move. Is this a good idea, or should we stay where we are? I'm just aware that if we stay where we are, we can hunt easily for rabbits, but hunting for deer would be a little bit harder, but not much harder. Do you know what? I think I am going to move 3, and I'm going to just play with my friend Jack and power him up a little bit. So that's using the 2. No, was it? 1 2 3. That wasn't. That was using the 3. And then use the 2 to go 1 2 to get 1 stone. Now you can spend food or health to boost the value of that dice in terms of generating stars. So for example, I'm on 2. I could spend 1 food and 1 health to boost the value of the die to 3 and then to 4, which would mean I have 2 stars. So the value shown on the dice remains the same, but in terms of producing stars, that's a way of like boosting that up. But I'm not sure that's worth it at this stage. I think we'll just stick with what we've got. So we're going to go into the evening. First thing we're going to do is spend our 1 item of food, because obviously we need to eat. Then for the weather penalty, a 4 means that you lose 1 bit of roof. We've got some fairly bad weather and it's damaged our roof. Had we not had any roof at all, we would have lost some health. Then we're going to look at this one, and if you remember, I said that a raid only happens if that value die is 5 or 6. So rolling those dice values that are a bit lower today is probably a good thing, because it means when we get to the end of tomorrow, those dice values are nice and low. So we are moving on to day 3. So when you hit day 3, we've got a little symbol here. We've got the raid symbol, we've got a dice, and we've got an up arrow. And what that means is we have to increase the value on this die by 1. So that's not too bad since we were only on a 2, but if we were on a 4, it would have increased it to a 5, meaning that a raid would happen. So the further you get into the game, the more dangerous stuff gets. The longer you spend on the island, the more perilous your life becomes. So we're on to a new day. We're going to be rolling our action die and doing some new stuff. Got a bit of a range there, a 2, a 4 and a 6. So what are we going to do? So just as a reminder, we are trying to hunt a deer and we are trying to make a rope. So hunting deer only requires 3 power, so it's not too tricky. Having a stone knife would make it easier, because a stone knife gives you 1 additional power, as well as giving you 1 additional hide when you successfully hunt. Having a bed in place is pretty good, because it increases the rate at which you can heal, and it also increases your maximum HP. And the rope we need for the end of the game. So building things would be good. We've only got 1 wood and 1 stone at the moment, so more resources would probably be a good thing. More stone, maybe a hide, possibly a hunt would be quite good. We can't do a hunt right now, unfortunately, because that would require a 3. Remember, the grey dice allows us to go backwards, so we could go back to do a move. But you know what? I think I'm going to stock up on food, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's using my most expensive dice. I just remembered I haven't done the event. We need to do that first. I struggle to remember this for some reason. So because we're at the end of the event track, we're going to go back to the start. 1, 2. And that actually means we gain a food. So that is nice. Then I've decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and use my 6. Putting that in the lowest position means that tomorrow it won't result in bad weather or a bad raid, which is good. Having moved 6 onto the gain food action means that we will gain 3 food, equivalent to the 3 stars. So that's pretty good. That's a nice store there of food. And then we've got a 4 and we've got a 2 that could go backwards. So we could use the 4 to go to here. Build some fence, that might be a good idea. 1, 2 to go here to get something that we need. Food, wood or stone. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go there, get some stone, our second bit of stone. So that's using the 2. And then, I've just realised if we do that, that does mean we'll probably get raided. Oh, no, maybe not. I'm just looking, because day 4 doesn't increase the raid risk at all. So we will do that. We've got our stone, and then our final 4 we're going to use to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and do some hunting. So 4 gives us 2 stars, plus our 1 power gives us a total of 3. Plenty to defeat the little bunny rabbit, which gives us 1 food and 1 hide. So we've got a good amount of food now. That's pretty awesome. We don't have to worry too much about food anytime soon, I don't think. End of the day, we need to consume 1 food. Weather, I think a bad thing does happen. Yeah, on a 3 or a 4, I just realised we've got this little track down here, this is quite useful. On a 3 or a 4, we will lose 1 bit of our roof, so we're back to no roof. And then over here, the raid only happens on a 5 or a 6, and we are on a 3. So that is all good. So we'll gather up those 3 dice. We'll move these over, and we'll go on to a new day. Here we go. Day 4. So 4, 5, 6. We've only got 3 more days, and we still haven't built the rope, and we still haven't hunted the deer. So I think we've got to get moving soon. 1, 4, and 5. Aha, so that looks good to me. That looks like we're getting a stone or a wood. Now, which one do we want? I think possibly we want the stone. That's great news. Now, a 1, remember, can go backwards. So we could get some wood, or we could do some roof building, which would use up our only wood. But maybe that's okay. I think that's probably okay. I might do that. Well, no, hang on. Because if we put the 1 in the first spot, then we'll be putting the higher value dice up here. So what else could we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could get a food, a wood, or a stone. Or we could move. I think maybe it's time to move. We're going to do that first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, each move has a star requirement. This move here has a star requirement of 1, so that's absolutely fine. And we're moving into a location with a wood symbol, which means we get some wood. And now we are in the new hunt area, the area where we could hunt for deer if we wanted to. And we are going to want to do that soon. But I think for the next action, for which I'm going to use the 5, I mean, that does get us to the hunt. Maybe we should just do the hunt straight away. I think that's what we're going to do. So we have got 1 power still, so not much, but it's enough. Because we rolled a 5, we're getting 2 stars, so a total of 3 stars, or 3 power. And for the deer, you need 3 or greater power, which we've got, to get 2 food and 2 hide. And we have successfully hunted a deer, which means we've completed the first part of our quest. So 2 food, 2 hide. We're quite resource rich right now. We're going to use that final dice to move over here. Actually, I'll tell you what, we could use that final dice to build a rope, construct a rope. It will require 1 food, 1 wood, and 1 hide. We have successfully built the rope. I don't think that's what these little purple cubes are for, to mark that, but I like to mark items that I've built. We've got the rope, we've killed the deer. Actually, all of a sudden, we've completed the game. So there you go. Within 6 days, we have fulfilled both of the objectives, and we have successfully completed the game. So you can see that this quest 1 is very much a sort of a beginner quest to allow you to get used to the mechanics. So if we look at the subsequent quests, where are they? The rescue signal requires you to move to the top of the mountain and to make a flag. So you have to get all the way up there and make a flag in 9 days. Quest 3, start the game at the top of the mountain with the flag card. So it's like following on. Then you have to move to the green hill and build a fire. So I'm assuming these things are trickier than what we have done so far. But there you go. That is mission number 1. I will come back and show you the next mission as well. Let me know what you think, folks. I think it's a lovely little game. And if you haven't got time to get Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island to the table, I think this gives you a similar, a slightly different, but certainly a similar sort of feel, and it scratches a similar itch. I don't know. I just like the idea of characters that are trapped on a desert island. It's the reason why I like Robinson Crusoe. It's the reason why I like Dieson Crusoe. Let me know down below what your favourite thing set on a desert island is. Otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in and joining me for this adventure, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.